Hello, everyone. The third eye is taking you to see the world. Are aliens real in the world? As one of the most mysterious events on Earth, I believe many people are interested in this topic. Let's talk about the topic of alien today. December 2020, Hayam Esht made extraordinary claims in an interview to Israel national newspaper Yediot Ahronoth. He said aliens exist. U.S. government has contacted aliens for years, and secret agreements have been made between the Galactic Federation and the U.S. in order to do experiments on Earth. This cooperation includes a secret underground base on Mars, where there are American and alien representatives. His words shocked the world. As media reported, Esht, 87-year-old, claimed that U.S. has been aware of the existence of aliens for years. But aliens hope to keep themselves a secret until humanity is ready. Esht explained that President Donald Trump was aware of the extraterrestrials' existence and had been on the verge of revealing information but was asked not to in order to prevent mass hysteria. They have been waiting until today for humanity to develop and reach a stage where we will understand, in general, what space and spaceships are, Esht said, referring to the Galactic Federation. Esht said cooperation agreements had been signed between aliens and U.S. government, including an underground base in the depths of Mars where there are American astronauts and alien representatives. They are working together for researching. These words sound very like science fiction. If I had come up with what I'm saying today 5 years ago, I would have been hospitalized, Esht said. He added that today, they're already talking differently. I've received my degrees and awards. I am respected in universities abroad, where the trend is also changing. Esht is cited as the father of Israel's space program. He was director of space programs for Israel Ministry of Defense for nearly 30 years, is former chair of the Space Committee of the National Council for Research and Development for the Ministry of Science, Technology and Space, and a member of the Steering Committee of Israel Space Agency. Esht is responsible for the launch of 20 Israeli-made satellites, and is a 3-time recipient of the Israel Security Award. Esht provided more information in his newest book, The Universe Beyond the Horizon, Conversations with Professor Hayam Esht. In the book, Esht makes implausible claims that include stories of how aliens prevented potential nuclear disasters, including an unspecified nuclear incident during the Bay of Pigs invasion. The book was written by author Hagar Yanai, published in November 2020. The incredible thing is that a declassified document from the CIA, dated 1988 but released in year 2000, nearly a decade later really shows the information about Galactic Federation. The handwritten session was recorded on January 13, 1988 by CIA, a remote viewing session attempting to look into the headquarters of the Galactic Federation. As the experimenter described, the headquarters is a round structure, located on the flat top of what seems to be something like a mess. There are streaking rays emanating from, or going into this structure like sun streaks. Inside this structure it is dark, cool, rough, stone cavern-like. From 1 mile overhead, the view is dark, black, empty, a feeling of nothingness. Upon descending, could get the impression of very high, rugged peaks. There is a flat, plateau-like area, and below this is a blue body of water that seems to be surrounded by a flat, open, grassy plain. Climbed onto the platform and laid down, he, or she, was then illuminated by a brilliant shaft of white light from head to toe. This experiment note is a part of the declassified documents. Galactic Federation headquarters was red-circled on the picture sample. It's interesting that this remote viewing session was conducted in 1988. First of all, where would the CIA get the idea to even look for some sort of Galactic Federation? It raises many questions. Those UFOs frequently appear on the Earth. Because of the fast speed and instantaneous moving, humans are not able to identify them. No answer found. It becomes an unsolved mystery. Pentagon UFO report formally revealed 3 Navy videos that contain unidentified aerial phenomena on April 27, 2020. The Department of Defense confirmed what seekers of extraterrestrial life have long hoped to be true: they're real. As media reported, U.S. The Department of Defense could reveal reports on UFO sightings before June 1 this year. It could contain a lot of information obtained by the U.S. military for a long time in studying UFOs. In addition, the report will disclose relevant evidence on observed UFO traveling at speeds that exceed the sound barrier without a sonic boom. Former Director of National Intelligence John Ratcliffe claimed there have been objects observed by U.S. military craft and satellites that have achieved forms of flight that would normally be impossible with any known human technology. He said movements that are hard to replicate that we don't have the technology for. He spoke with Fox News' Maria Bartiromo, saying there are a lot more sightings than the public is aware of. He revealed that when we talk about sightings, we are talking about objects that have seen by Navy or Air Force pilots, or have been picked up by satellite imagery that frankly engage in actions that are difficult to explain. All in all, these reports can clearly state, and the photos are real. Mary Rodwell is the founder of ACERN, the Australian Close Encounter Resource Network. She explained that hundreds of people from around the globe, who claim to be alien abductees, have contacted Mary. Especially since the Royal Australian Air Force, RAF, officially stopped looking into reported sightings in the 90s. She says that it's due to Australia's large size and small population that you don't hear about UFO sightings more. She told Mashable, "A lot of the time so we don't get it, UFO sightings, recorded or people don't want to talk about it, particularly in more isolated places where farmers see stuff, as they do, and have that experience." There are at least 5 major UFO sightings in Australia, which have had a great impact so far. Following, I will talk about that. In 1978, a 20-year-old pilot and UFO enthusiast named Frederick Valentik was flying over the Bay Strait, separating Tasmania and mainland Australia, when he radioed air traffic control in Melbourne. In the transmission, the young man describes an object hovering 300 meters above him and said it was not an aircraft. He made statements like it has a green light and a sort of metallic light on the outside, and it's coming for me right now. After that his signal was lost. His plane disappeared without a trace. Believers like Mary Rodwell say the 1988 experience of Faye Knowles and her 3 sons, and their 2 dogs, is one of the most significant close encounter testimonies ever. Also reportedly involving several witnesses, the story goes involves the family witnessing an egg-like, bright structure. They then went on a high-speed car chase against the object, climaxing with the family's car being lifted from the road as weird black dust, high-pitched sound and a horrible smell overwhelmed the car. "I felt like my brain was being sucked out, and later UFO put them down and left," said eldest son Patrick at the time. This event became hot news that year, and it is an unsolved case now. The Westall incident is often referred to on the dark corners of the web as Australia's most significant mass UFO sightings. It occurred in 1966 at Westall High School in Melbourne. Over 100 students, teachers and members of the public claimed to have seen 3 metallic objects in the sky, hovering closely. Afterwards, witnesses claimed they were paid a visit by men in black, and teachers said they were told to dismiss the incident by police and military authorities. The Australian government has not announced the findings of the incident to the public. The declassified documents in 2014 revealed that at that time, officials had conducted radioactive material detection on the place where the metallic objects visited. Australian woman with the pseudonym Kelly Cahill was kidnapped. In 1993, she and her husband were driving through the Dandenong Ranges when they saw a big round-shaped blimp thing and went to get a closer look. Next minute, Cahill wakes up in her own car feeling oddly relaxed. The couple returned home only to realize they'd lost an hour and creepily, that Cahill had a painful triangular mark near her belly button. Over the next few weeks, she experienced flashbacks, eventually appearing on TV program to tell the story of her abduction. Cahill's video could be found on YouTube. Wycliffe Well is in the Northern Territory and it calls itself the UFO capital of Australia. UFO hobbyists rejoice. It's said Wycliffe Well is the place of nightly UFO sightings. Since 1985, there have been traces of UFOs around Wycliffe Well. If you search online, you will find many interesting stories. Witnesses of aliens in Wycliffe Well can be traced back to World War II, and there have been hundreds of UFO sightings. Seeing strange lights or luminous objects in the sky here are all commonplace things. Finally, I will share you a more incredible UFO event. The story occurred in the United States. Chicken farmer Joe Simonton claimed he was visited by aliens at around 11 a.m. on April 18, 1961. Mr. Simonton, who was 60 at the time of the alleged encounter, was visited at his farm in Eagle River, Wisconsin, U.S., by an object which he saw landing in his garden. He recalled hearing the sound of knobby tires on wet pavement and went to go investigate. He saw a metallic UFO-like object, which he described as appearing like two reversed bowls with exhaust pipes on its edge. Mr. Simonton said the object did not touch the ground, and after a gate was opened, he saw three aliens who had a height of 1.5 meters, wore black or navy blue clothing with turtleneck shirts and helmets. Simonton told the press one of them held a metallic jar to his mouth, indicating with gestures that he needed water for drinking. The crew seemed to be of Italian descent and about 25 or 30 years old. As a good host, Simonton agreed to the request and went to his house to fill the water jug, which he recalled as weighing a bit more than aluminum. After Simonton returned the jar filled with water to the crew, he saluted him, and he also raised his hand in return. An Air Force report of the incident states, looking into the saucer, he saw a man cooking on some kind of flameless cooking appliance. The chef, who had red stripes on the pants, gave Simonton 4 hot cookies of about 7.5 centimeters in diameter, with small holes. Simonton said that when the flying saucer left, it flew directly to the south at angle of 45 degrees and disappeared within just 2 or 3 seconds. This made him stunned, not knowing what happened. Astronomer J. Allen Hynek was dispatched by the U.S. Air Force to investigate following the incident. He took one of the pancakes away for government analysis at the Air Force Technical Intelligence Center. They found them to be made from flour, sugar, and grease. And, like pancakes themselves. Dr. Hynek wrote in his report, "There is no question that Mr. Simonton felt that his contact had been a real experience. The third eye is taking you to see the world." That's all for today. We will share you more interesting topics in our next video. Thank you for your likes, subscribe, and share. If you have any thoughts, please leave us comment below. Thank you, bye-bye.